Hi, this is Erica Dyer with Incoherent Ramblings of a Crazy Bitch. And how are you today, Nick?
Doing good. October's over, so we're in Christmas right now, so.
I know. Oh, don't call it Christmas season. We got to do Thanksgiving first. My birthday's in November. We can't skip November.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And just to go ahead and put it early in the episode, if you have any questions for Erica Dyer or me, email us at ericadyerpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do have a comment from somebody. I'll read it right now. Let me see.
Okay.
From TP. It says, "Keep going. I listened to the last episode last night. Loved it. Your podcast reminds me of sitting down with my dad and all of his buddies, listening to all their crazy stories from back in the day. I can't wait for the next crazy story. Thank you."
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, if you were sitting down with my dad and his buddies, you'd be talking about generic Viagra on trying to keep it up. Because that was like one of the last conversations that I sat down with my dad and his buddies on. So, now, needless to say, it was in a restaurant and it was very loud because, as my dad said, I don't give a fuck what they think. But thank you so very much. That was so nice. That was so nice.
Yes, definitely. We always love hearing encouraging words from people that love the podcast, so helps us keep going.
Good. Well, I was actually listening to the podcast as I was driving this week, and one thing I noticed, and I do got to apologize to everyone, Nick may not have noticed, you may not have noticed, but the one a couple episodes ago where I was answering questions, there was like this constant click, 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 click. I have nervous habits, and what that was, those binder clips that you could like clip a big binder full of paper with. I was playing with one of those binder clips, and you could hear me like rocking in my chair and shit like that. I'm like, God, this audio is horrid. I'm like, what the fuck is that clicking noise? But yes, so I will stay still. I will try not to click anything, and we'll try to make the audio a little better on my end.
All right, then. I think there was also something else that you wanted to address with one of the questions about the breakups, about the funny breakups.
I do. Do you happen to have that question again?
Yeah. Let me look it up real quick. I know it's in the email. Let's see. I think. Oh yeah, there we go. It's from DG.
Okay.
Let's see. The question I have is for both of you. What are some instances of hilarious breakups that you've been a part of or even heard of?
Okay. All right. Now, see, when you asked me this question the other day, because I don't see the questions first. I don't know who they're from. I don't see them first. So I was like, I couldn't think of anything, right? My mind went blank. I'm like, oh God, they were all sad. No, I think the ones that I blocked out of my mind were the ones that were not sad. And I like to think it's because those guys really didn't matter, fuck them. But I did have a few, not everyone, but a couple of them that did make me think of on my way back, and I can't believe I ever forgot this fucking shit. So one would have been my high school boyfriend. So I dated this guy all through high school. I dated him for 3 years, longest relationship I ever had. And the thing that struck me with the breakup, and I had said before, he cheated on me. That's neither here nor there. But he owed me money. And you're going to find throughout this podcast, that's probably a theme, He owed me money. And I remember clearly sitting there with him in his car and him like, oh, Erica, I don't have the money and I can't pay you back. I took the necklace and the jewelry right off that man. I'm like, if you do not pay me my shit now, I will sue you. And thus began Erica's reign of suing people. I have sued at least 3 ex-boyfriends, at least 3 friends, and I have bankrupted at least 1 motherfucking business. Because I ain't a bitch to fuck with. I can't believe I forgot that, but it's kind of commonplace to me, because actually last time I went to the courthouse to file papers to sue somebody, the lady at the courthouse was like, Erica, maybe you should quit loaning money out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was one of them. Another one, this is terrible. So, and some of you are going to figure out who the fuck this guy is. I ain't going to say his name, but you guys are going to figure out who he is that know me. So when my dad died, you know, I was devastated. This was like my only parent my entire life. That was my only parent, right? And I remember clearly I'm sitting on the floor because the person that I was dating at the time did not come to my father's funeral. That's a different story. But he did not come to my father's funeral. But when he came over another day, I'm sitting there on the floor. I'm like crying, you know, bawling, devastated, crying about my dad. And I kid you not, this was his response. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he's gone. He reaches out, grabs my tit, and goes, honk. That, I kid you not, dude. This was his response to my father dying.
Oh my
honk.
God. Wow.
So,
read the room, buddy. Read the room.
I've always told him he is emotionally retarded. Like, fucking emotionally retarded. He's twin. He's one of a twin. And I said, you know what? There's always a twin that probably had less oxygen, less nourishment. You're that motherfucking twin. I said, there's something wrong with you. But it doesn't end there with him. Okay. Because I still tried. I tried. You know, I tried to have a relationship with this guy. I stayed in my hometown. He stayed in his hometown. He would come down. And I'll never forget this day. I called Kathy. He brought a toothbrush and he put it in with my toothbrush. And I called Kathy. I'm like, Kathy, this motherfucker put his toothbrush in with my, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I do not want his toothbrush next to my toothbrush. I can't handle it. That's it. That's it. And I swear to God, that was it. We were done.
Oh my God, that's funny. Because yeah, there's always that thing with the guy. It's like when she leaves her toothbrush at your place, you know that, you know, like your place is now, you know, her place as well, and it's, you know, that's how.
Exactly. Exactly. That's like a commitment thing.
Yeah.
That is a commitment thing. You know, it's one thing I want him to brush his teeth, but that was another story. But you know, I don't want his toothbrush next to mine. Bring your toothbrush with you and take it with you when you leave. I can't handle that toothbrush with mine. I could not handle that shit. And Kathy to this day is like, I cannot believe you broke up with somebody over a toothbrush. And I'm like, well, obviously it's not just a toothbrush, but that was the final never again. We have never been together again. I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. As a matter of fact, I've never had another man's toothbrush next to mine since then. Can't handle it. Can't handle it. And then one last one, because like I said, some of them are, actually 2 last ones. There was one guy that tried to break up with me via text message.
Oh, jeez. Text
message. I am a very, believe it or not, I can be a very aggressive person. And I had somebody, like the day after we had sex, try to break up with me via text message. And I say try because I hopped my ass in the car, drove over to his house where he lived with his parents, pounded on the door, and was like, that's fine if you want to break up with me, but you're going to do it to my motherfucking face. Yeah, there ain't no text message here. You want to dump me? Here I am. And so, you know, he did the whole, I just don't think it's working. I've made more than one guy cry, so we'll just not talk about that. But, so there was that. And then one last one. I don't know if this is so much funny as it is scary, but there was this one guy I was dating who was so much more into me than I was him, because he was a cocksucker. But he really was. He was an ass. God, I got stories about him. But when we finally split up, I think it was just more me just kind of like, I think I broke up with him by text message. I'm going to be honest. I think I did. I'm going to tell the truth there.
Oh my God.
And so him trying to get a hold of me and me just ignoring him, like, look, dude, I told you it was over. And then I have never been in this situation before. He's the only one I was in this situation with. But he just a barrage of text messages that got more and more aggressive and uglier and uglier, and I'm going to tell people that you said this or you did this, or secrets that I told them, because when you're dating somebody you talk about shit, I'm going to fuck this girl and God, I'll never forget this one. I'm going to fuck this girl and I won't even need to take a pill. I kid you not, because see, with me, like, the guy had dick problems, so I'm like, yeah, good for you, buddy. But it got to the point with him, I actually contacted the cops. He is the one and only guy I dated that I ever contacted the cops. And the cops asked me, they said, is he threatening you? And I'm like, no, he's not threatening me. He just won't fucking quit sending me dick pics and, like, ugly messages and shit like that. And the cops said that there was nothing they could personally do, but that I could talk to an attorney about filing a restraining order, and he just ended up leaving me alone. So that was probably one of the worst relationships.
Well, thankfully he was just nasty messages and things like that. It wasn't anything, beyond that. So that's okay. Yeah. But payback is a bitch, because there was somebody that I dated that I got a little psychotic with. Oh, geez.
So, yeah. So, there was, after my dad had died, I didn't date for a while. And, of course, I had come out of a bad relationship and was down on I had gained the most weight. It was the heaviest I ever weighed. And by the way, if anybody hears it, I got a cough that I'm trying to get rid of. So if I put myself on mute or cough in your ear, I'm sorry. But and he was kind to me. He was nice to me. He was a friend of a friend. Went out, had a great time. And Erica just got motherfucking dick drunk. He was so I have always dated big guys, right? If you were not 6 foot and taller, I didn't give you a second glance, right? I just didn't. I like big guys, big cuddly guys, actually. And this dude was probably 5'5", 5'6". He was balding, a little hunchback because he wrestled in high school. He had a big motherfucking smile, so he looked like a frog when he smiled. So I didn't think of it as, it would be anything more than just somebody to go out with, hang out with, and have a good time with. Oh, dear God in heaven. I'm telling you now, and I know you don't give a shit about this, but some of you might. Give me just a moment. Little dudes can fuck like a beast. I am not even lying. So big dudes, and I never realized that till this little dude, okay? Because big dudes, you got a lot of pressure on your heart. It takes a lot of energy. And I'm like one of those sappy fucking girls. I like missionary, and I like you to whisper sweet nothings to me and look me in the eyes. Well, when you got a 6 foot something dude on top of me who's 5'3", I'm getting fucking crushed, right? Not to mention big dudes, they get worn out because that's some fucking work, right? This little dude, man, I'm sweating now. This little dude could fuck like a motherfucking fucking beast. And so women can have clitoral and vaginal orgasms. You could have either one. This dude could give them both. Oh my God. Oh my dear. I have never in my life, never before, never since, both. It was like the heavens fucking opened. It was like, I can't even put it in words. And I hate this motherfucker. I do. Because I became so fucking like dick drunk, it became psychotic. And because I was heavier and my dad had died not too long before that, and I had a very low self-esteem, got out of bad relationship, I was very down on myself. So, of course, me being me, I look for liquid courage when I can. And I would drink when I was around him because I think it was one of those things like, trying to relax. Excuse me. Goodness. Trying to relax.
Yeah.
So I always had liquid courage. And whenever I was with him, even like, oh my God, when I met his mother, he actually took me to meet his mother, but it was at a party, and I went up there. God, this is humiliating. I was at a party at his parents' house, and she was in the garage with some friends. And I was drunk. And I knew I really liked this guy. I think I really liked his dick because if I look back, I probably really didn't know him that well. But I really liked his dick. And so I wanted to meet his mother because in my mind, first of all, I have 2 kids, right? I need a daddy for these kids because God forbid, a woman in my state can raise a child by herself. And so I go in and I introduce myself to his mother. Well, I did not realize how fucking drunk I was until I tell her my name and I'm dating her son. And I fucking fall down on the floor of their garage, right? Well, I'm remembering, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so humiliated. So I just crawl out the motherfucking garage. I just crawl out the garage. And that was it. That was me meeting his mother. And later on, he told me, he's like, I can never have you around my family again. I mean, let's face it. And then it got to the point, I could not give up his dick. I couldn't. To this day, it was fucking amazing. Okay. It was fucking amazing. And, he would, God, there was one time, it was a snowstorm in Indiana, like a straight up fucking ice storm. Like code black, you're not supposed to be out. And he texts me, he's like, hey, you want to come over? He lives in the fucking woods, right? I braved an ice storm to get that dick. I am not even kidding. So
you didn't want to be trapped without it.
I didn't. If there was another chance for that motherfucking dick, I was going to get it. And so I braved that ice storm. And then there was another time, God, this is terrible. And it was right after we were at his house and we had sex. God, it might have been that ice storm night. And he had a business, and he was telling me how poorly, the IRS wanted money from him. He couldn't pay his employees, shit like that. And there's Erica, like, oh, my dick needs, some help. Not him. I mean, I didn't know him that well, but I need to keep this dick happy because I keep needing that dick. I laid, because I used to carry a lot of cash with me, $3,000 in cash on this man's bedside table. I shit you not. Pay me back when you can.
That's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of goddamn money.
That was really good dick. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was tasty. I mean, to this day, I never did get my fucking money back. The guy filed bankruptcy and included me in that goddamn bankruptcy. But as mad as I am about that, I still don't know if it was a complete loss because that was really good dick. But we ain't done yet.
Okay.
Because, so it got to the point to where he started trying to, Erica, you need to like back off a little bit because we're not going to be in a real. Obviously, I had ruined things. I mean, I know I was very psychotic, and I'm like, okay, but I couldn't give up the dick. I could not give up the fucking dick. No lie. This dude that would text me nasty shit, he has nothing on me because this other dude with the glorious cock, I would drive out by his house and like, he lives in the fucking woods. There's no reason for me to be driving down his road. I would like creep down his road just to see who was there getting some of that dick, right? Because come on now. You can't. It got so bad. One of my friends went to him and she's like, we were at the bar and she goes up to him. She goes, look, she told him, she said, Erica can't say no to you. You're going to have to say no to her. Just be a man. Tell her it's done. You can't do it. And there I am. No, don't take that dick from me. You can't tell him that. I'm a grown woman. If I want that dick, I'm going to get that dick. And it lasted for over a year of him just like going out to the bar and like he would go to leave the bar and I lived in town. He lived in the country and he'd be like, hey, I think I'm too drunk to drive home. Can I come over? Come on over, baby. Give me that dick. And the final straw, thank God. He was the one when I mentioned therapy before. He was actually the one I went to therapy over. Because when I say I was addicted to that dick, I ain't even fucking lying. Like, I was addicted to that dick. And I don't even know why. He was a fucking asshole with a bankrupt business. I mean, it wasn't him. It was that fucking glorious cock. So the final straw, I was out at the bar and I was drunker than a skunk. And one of my friends are like, well, I'll give you a ride home. And I said, well, don't give me a ride home. Give me a ride to so-and-so's house. And he goes, are you sure? Because I didn't think you guys, and I said, no, give me a ride to his house. He doesn't lock his doors.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he gives me a ride out there. And remember, this is out in the fucking country. So my friend drops me off, and I proceed to go in this guy's house. Let this be a lesson to everybody. You should lock your motherfucking doors. So I go into this guy's house. I am fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go stumbling into his bedroom. Thank God nobody was there. I mean, I wasn't dating the dude. Were we fucking once in a while? Yes, but I was not dating the dude. So if he had somebody there with him, by all means, he could have. He did not. Thank God. And I go stumbling in his bedroom, and I'm just like, hey, I had so-and-so give me a ride out here. And he's like, why? I was like, well, I just needed a place to go. I said, but I'll go sleep in the living room. So I go stumbling back to the living room. But by this point, I could barely walk. So I fall on his living room floor, and I'm laying on his living room floor. And I hear him get up, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah. Because he had said before, it ain't just me being addicted to his dick. There was something with, not that he couldn't get laid elsewhere. He kept coming back to me. So, my fucking shit is tight. I'm good in bed. I ain't gonna lie. So he would come back to me too. And I heard him coming out of his bedroom and coming into the living room. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, here he comes. We're going, yeah. and he throws a blanket on me. And when he throws a blanket on me, it like covers me completely, my head and everything. So he goes back in his bedroom and lays back down. I hear the bed. And I'm thinking, Erica, you have fucking humiliated yourself. You're laying on this man's goddamn floor. You have no way home. You're drunker than fuck. But you can at least give it one more shot. So I start crawling on his fucking floor, right?
Oh my God.
With this blanket completely covering me so I can't see where I'm going. And I'm crawling on his floor. And I bump in and I'm like, bam, right into his dresser. And bam, right into his nightstand. And then I crawl up in his bed and I take my pants off and I take my bra off and I snuggle up next to him and he's like, I'm going to take you home. I got things to do tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And I'll never forget this. The song playing on the radio when he took me home, God, it was popular years ago. Apple Bottom Jeans. Do you remember that
Yes,
song?
I do. Yes, I do. Yes.
That song was playing on the radio when he dropped me off.
That song. Oh, my God.
So he dropped me off, and I did not get laid. But I did have an awakening of, Erica, this man could have fucking called the cops. Like, straight up called the motherfucking cops. So I went through my phone, and I'm like, how in the hell did you send him like 170 text messages in one day? And there was like no response. And I put myself in therapy and I gave that dick a rest. And I'll tell you, that dude tried to get a hold of me after that too. So he's a glutton for punishment for keeping coming back. He was like dangling that dick carrot in front of me. That ain't my fault. He was dangling that dick. He needs to blame himself for dangling that shit. But I told myself, no more, because you're going to end up in jail. And next time he got a hold of me, he did. He reached out to me because I stopped contacting him. I'm like cold fucking turkey. Like I'm giving up fucking drugs, right?
Yeah.
Cold fucking turkey. No dick for me. And let me just a moment. And he reached out to me and he's like, hey, you want to come over? And I go, no, actually I don't. I said, I would rather finger myself than ever fuck you again. And that's the last thing I ever said to him.
Yeah, that'll put a nail in the coffin for sure.
That was it. Yep. Except the one time I tried to text him and his girlfriend replied, but that's neither here nor there. That was years later.
Yeah,
when I was like, you know.
Yeah, that's a rough one too. That's a rough one as well. Oh,
but yeah. So I as much as that one dude stressed me out and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he's like this with me. I have been there myself. So I didn't think my vagina was worth getting addicted to, but maybe that one guy was addicted to my vagina. But no, this guy was probably one of the, I wouldn't even call it a relationship. I mean, technically we only dated like a month and then I just went psychotic. Like,
yeah, it sounds like it was a friends with benefits thing and you just kind of like hooked up when you wanted to, I guess. And just, that was pretty much it.
Yeah. But to this day, no lie, to this day, yeah, he now, of course, if I was to fuck him now, I'd probably be like, God damn, you little fucker and your tiny dick. But fucking lousy. I just think it was a combination of things,
Yeah, it's it sounds like you were in a, in kind of a, bad headspace and just in a bad place in general. And it kind of just,
Yeah, that's right. It couldn't be him. But no, I think that's true. I think it just, I had lost my dad. I was vulnerable, and I felt like he wanted me, which he did, just not the way I thought. But yeah, so I didn't end up in prison. That is great. I'm from a very small town, though, and just last week somebody had mentioned his name to me, and right away it pops into my head. I'm just like, really? Because I never got my motherfucking money back either.
Jeez.
But, it is what it is. Oh, God. But, yeah, so those are some of the bad breakups that I have probably had.
Yeah, they say they sound like doozies, really. Oh my God.
Actually, that's why I said the other day when you asked that question for that person, and I'm like, I can't think of any. I'm like, I know there are some, but see, therapy helps with that stuff, and
Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of last week, whatever happened to dude from Scarefest?
So. We texted on Tuesday. He just asked how my day was, and he said he had to work a 12-hour day, because I didn't reply to him till Tuesday when our podcast posted. And he said that he had to work a 12-hour day, and he was going to listen to our podcast, and then he was going to do a different interview for a different podcast. And I said, are you going to start with the most recent podcast, or are you going to start at the beginning? He goes, I haven't decided. Well, I haven't heard from the motherfucker, so I'm going to guess he started with the most recent one. But that's okay. That's okay, because like I told you last week out in California, I got a peck on the lips and a glide on the underboob, and he held my hand at Scarefest. So it's all right. It's all right. If you don't want to give me a call, you don't want to give me a call. Back when I was probably 19, 20 years old, I remember my dad sitting me down saying, Erica, I'm afraid you're going to be alone for the rest of your life. Men don't like women that speak their mind. And I go, Dad, them men can go fuck themselves. And I've lived my life that way, so.
Oh my gosh.
If you can't take a joke, get to moving.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, even from a guy's perspective, I mean, it just depends on the guy, really. I mean, some don't care, some might get intimidated or whatever by it, but it's all in the person, really, and how it's taken. So.
Well, and I think some of them, at least what I've been told, because I've had guys tell me this, well, I'm afraid you'll say something about me. Well, first of all, don't fuck up. Second of all, I don't mention names. So, and I don't lie. I don't deny. The shit coming out is the truth. So, what we got to hide?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I just wanted to go back and address those past breakups, because I had some thought about it this week.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That last one. I mean, I understand you were, in a very down, a very low point in life because of everything that happened. But man, that guy must have, just crazy.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Him and the guy that told me, was telling people I was after him just for his money. Yeah. Would tell people, she just wants me for my money. Well, you can take what he makes, add it to what his wife makes, double it, and they might get close to what I make. So it's all good.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But I do think that, I think that's a pretty good closing for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about past relationships and all the ups and downs about them, Yeah, definitely. That's definitely gonna be. It's definitely gonna be a good one. I think people are gonna enjoy hearing more about.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Oh God. Hopefully at some point, hopefully at some point you're writing a book that's like, on par with like as big as War and Peace is. Like all the things that have happened to you, all the things
I
you've
might.
experienced.
This week I started because of that question that came in. So make sure your questions come in, ericadyerpodcast@gmail.com. That got me to thinking. I actually sat down with a piece of paper and started with high school. Okay, this was this guy. What happened there? This was this guy. What happened there? So you all got me thinking. Keep those questions coming. Questions, comments, concerns, compliments.
Yeah,
take
definitely,
it all.
Definitely. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is Erica D Podcast on Twitter, and Erica D Podcast on Instagram as well. Any closing thoughts?
Nope, I think that's it. Just if you do get addicted to the dick or the pussy, doesn't matter which, if you go to lay $3,000 on that bedside table, put that shit back in your pocket and don't look back, because you ain't gonna get it back. That money's gone.
It's a wonderful way to end it.